Here with some tips for our international students. What to expect when you arrive in Canada? When you arrive in Canada, in order to complete all necessary paperwork, you may experience longer border processing wait times. A border services officer will direct you where you need to go to complete your study permit application. Some airports have a special processing area for international students arriving in Canada. Please watch for signage that may be directing you to these designated areas. Once you receive your study permit, please ensure you verify all information and correct any errors before you leave the student processing area. Thanks for watching.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Belami. If this is your first time here, please don't make it with the last. Click on the subscribe button, watch all of my audio videos. Trust me, they have very helpful information in all of those videos. Please go back to watch them. Click on the notification button so that when I drop a video, you'd be the first to know. Drop a comment whenever you're confused or you have any questions, and I would be more than glad to answer all of your questions. And if you are a returning subscriber, you know the vibes, even a real MVP. Thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you so much for sticking to this channel. And today we will be talking about possible questions that you can be asked at the point of entry, which is at the immigration of Canada. Do you know that some people have actually been sent back to Nigeria, sent back home at the point of entry? Why? We'll get to know that in all of the video. Try to watch the end of the video because I gave real life experiences, and I also gave a full list of all the possible questions that could be asked. So first, I would say, please, when you get to the immigration, be very calm and confident. Be very calm and confident. You have to answer all of the questions correctly and directly. Don't go around. Once they suspect that there's something fishy about this person, they'll just take you somewhere, ask you some questions. If you're not able to answer the questions, there's a possibility they can decide to send you back home to Nigeria. Yeah, immigration has the right. Immigration can take the decision and say, okay, you don't seem right, something seems fishy, something seems off, and you have to go back. So one thing I need to let you know during your application process, if an agent is helping you with the process of your application, make sure that you request for every document used. You print them out and you have it. Your SOP, as much as possible, write your SOP by yourself. There's more to it. Seems like you're telling the story, so it feels real. There's a spontaneity when you're answering all of the questions if you wrote your SOP by yourself. But if your SOP is not written by yourself, you did not read all of the documents, you don't know what it all entails, you won't be able to answer the questions that they ask you. All of your application process, all of your SOP, all of your documentation, whoever your sponsor is, all of the documents you submitted, the deed of land, or whatever, everything you submitted, they have everything right in front of them when they ask you questions. So when they ask you a question and you answer wrongly, they can take the decision. They can go as far as asking you to spell the name of your sponsor, spell the last name of your sponsor. If you cannot do that, it might be as basic as that. If you cannot do that, they might, okay, there's something fishy about this and we need to make more inquiries, we need to do more investigation. They probably might not take a drastic step. They will probably just take you out of the line where you have other people to ask you more questions. So immediately you land. I'll start from the moment you land. Immediately you land. If you have not watched my relocation video, please watch the relocation video, because I made a video at the moment that I landed from the plane down to where I did my declaration. Now at that point of declaration, there's a part where you would use your passport on a system. Please watch the video. I made a video of that.
Remove your mask, we'll take a picture.
System. Now that system scans your passport and it asks you some question. Be very careful of the question. The questions are not so much, they are just yes or no questions. But once you pick the wrong answer, it sends a signal to immigration. They could ask questions about maybe hard drugs. I can't really recollect the questions right now, but you just have to be very careful with the question. There was someone that was helping me, not like help me per se, because you're supposed to answer all of those questions yourself, but I had to ask someone because the questions were tricky. I'm like, is this supposed to be yes or no? It also takes your picture. So is this supposed to be a yes or no? I just asked the person, I'm like, sorry, is this yes or no? And the person was like, okay, just choose yes. So you have to be very careful at that point. You can just check my previous video to have an overview or an idea of what the system looks like. Then after then, you go to the stage where you declare your food stuff. I'm going to make a video entirely on what you are not allowed to bring in. So now, one of the things that I had was, I think I'll make another video entirely on that one so we don't rumble up this video. So you're going to declare all of your food stuff. If you have whatever is not supposed to be there, they're going to take it out. And if you have something that is not supposed to be there and you don't declare it, they have scanners. And if the scanner scans out whatever is not supposed to be there, you know the drill. So the next one is, then you go to the immigration where you have to collect your study permit. Before you can collect your study permit, you have to answer their questions. So I missed something at the declaration spot where you have the system. After you've done the declaration, it prints out a slip for you. It's like a declaration slip. So when you get to the immigration is going to ask you for that slip. Before my turn, let me share the experience of the person that was right before me. I was one of the first 5 or first 6 people that came out from the plane. So my process wasn't so long. I was literally answered to almost immediately. So there was someone right in front of me. Now they asked this lady, what is the name of your school? And she went, let me check my phone. What? You don't know the name of your school? Okay, I understand that, some of the schools, you might not be able to pronounce the name. No, that's why we have Google. Go to Google. Get the correct pronunciation of all of these names. Even me, as at the first time that I got there, I was like, what's the name of your school? I said the name of my school. He looked at the other person and they smiled. I knew they were making jest of me, but then at least I still knew the name of my school. I didn't get the pronunciation 100%, but then they probably understand that, okay, you might not be familiar with the pronunciation, but you should know the name of your school. You should also know the program that you're going for. They can ask you questions as, what is the program you're going for? Why are you taking this program? Do you know anything about this program? So let me go back to the other gist. Now they asked her, what's the name of your school? She had to bring out her phone. And this person naturally was strict. Now it depends on your it depends on the point of entry, it depends on the airport, it depends on the person. And trust me, grace is required. Always pray for grace. Did you watch my video of my relocation when my father was praying for me, my dad was praying for me? That prayer covered me till I landed, even after I landed, even till this very moment. Okay, so the person asked her the name of the school. She wasn't able to provide that. The program, why are you taking this program? She wasn't sure. Then the person went ahead and was like, why are you taking this program? Where did you get to know about this program? So the moment where they know that you're not confident, then they start to ask you more questions that it's more like they're putting you on the spot. So if an agent did your application process for you and you don't know anything about all of these things, even when it is real, they might think it's not real. Ask them, who's your sponsor? I think there's something that they do where I think maybe, I'm not sure, there's a special process for POF. I think that was what that person did. She wasn't able to defend who the sponsor is, what the sponsor does, and all of that. And this person, being a very strict person, was like, no, I don't think I can give you a study permit. Please step aside. He called someone, and next someone else came, probably an immigration officer, dressed in a police kind of outfit. They were like, oh, sorry, we need to ask you some questions and all of that. And they simply took IV. It was my turn. I'm like, okay. A day before my trip, my sister's husband literally had a very long call and was like, oh yeah, sit down here, let's talk. These are all the possible questions you could be asked. First, go and read all of the documents. Read about the course. Read about the school. The things he was even asking me to read about. I'm like, she current affairs, Mufelo Sheni. What was all this? It was like, you need to read all of that. You need to keep yourself abreast. They might not ask you, but you need to be prepared. Another thing, make sure that you have all your documents handy. Where's your letter of introduction? You don't know what your letter of introduction is. How is that possible? Where's your letter of acceptance? You don't know what your letter of acceptance is. How is that possible? Make sure that you have a particular file with you in your hand luggage where all of these documents are. And you need to know what each document is. Not give me your letter of introduction. Like, what's letter of introduction? You need to know what all of these documents have. And I got there. What's your name? I told them my name, your last name. Okay. What's the name of your school? I told them the name of my school. It was not 100% pronounced, but then at least I knew the name of my school. The program you're doing, I told them the program. And then they just asked me, who's your sponsor? Okay, I told them the name of my sponsor. I was like, who is the sponsor to you? Okay, the sponsor is my brother. They can obviously see all of the information. And they're like, do you have any money with you right now? Because I declared it. I had 5,000 USD as at when I made my trip. I was like, do you have any cash with you? I was like, yes, I do have $5,000 with me. And then I was like, how do you intend to pay your school fees while you're here? I'm like, oh God, you can see it there. But then I had to answer, obviously. I'm like, okay, my brother is sponsoring it and all of that. And like, how is your brother intending to pay your school fees? I told them the business. I was like, then I explained. And then they said, what business does your brother do? Then they wanted to know if I probably did my application myself. And I know everything my application is all about. And I told them, my brother does this and all of that. They're like, oh, congratulations, I have your study permits. That was all. And I packed my bags and I went. Now there was one question I did not have. The previous person that had has before me, they asked her, after school, what is your plan? Please do not make the mistake of telling immigration that after school you would apply for PR or apply for a longer stay. Do not make that mistake. After school, when you're done, I'm going back to Nigeria to whatever you stated in your SOP. If you're going back to Nigeria to handle your business or handle your brother's business or your father's business, that is what you should say. If you have stated in your SOP that you just got a leave of absence or a study leave from your place of work, that is what you should tell them. Do not make the mistake of telling them that you are going to apply for a longer stay or you intend to stay in Canada because Canada is a good place. Canada, do not make that mistake. That was the mistake the other person made. That, I do not know what later happened because after mine, I just packed my bag and baggages and I did what? And I left. Having to look for my bag was another story entirely. But then I was able to pass through all of those. So those are the possible questions that you could or would be asked. I will leave some other questions that I probably overheard because before my turn, there were a number of persons that were attended to and I could overhear some questions that were asked. So I'll just drop some questions, the possible questions that would be asked. Please make sure you're ready to answer every question. Now for some persons, they don't ask them so many questions. Mine was just my school was my sponsor. Maybe because I was ready, it didn't seem like a lot of questions for me. It just felt, who's your sponsor? Why is this person sponsoring you? How is this person going to sponsor you? All of those, do you have any money with you right now? And all of those things. So those questions seemed very easy for me. And because I was ready that, okay, this question was going to come up, just be ready, be calm, be confident. The moment they know you are not confident or the moment you start thinking too much about the questions, they start throwing questions to you on the spot. And when you're on the spot and someone is asking you too many questions, you become nervous. even before the questions come, naturally you become nervous that you're going to get your study visa, and there's a possibility of being declined your study permits rather, and there's a possibility of being declined your study permit. Just calm down and answer all of the questions directly. If this video has been very helpful, please like, share, comment, and click on the subscribe button, turn on post notifications so that when I drop another video, you will be the first to know. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comment section. I definitely would answer all of your questions.